right, it says it's live.
All right, think we're live. All right, hi guys, this is Lokesh from the Soul Freedom Show, and we have a very special guest today, Kika, all the way from California, and I also have a new co-host, Zetalyiah.
Right, it says it's live.
Oh, wait, I have to.
All right. Think we're
I had
live.
to.
All right.
I
Hi,
have to.
guys. This is Lokesh from the Soul Freedom Show.
Wait,
And
there's
we have a very
something.
special guest today,
There's some
Kika, all the
video.
way from
1
California.
second.
And I also have a new co-host,
Do
Z.
you guys hear an echo?
Right, it says it's live.
Wait.
Hold on. Shit,
Is it you?
it's me.
Maybe it's one of
Sorry.
you guys.
That was my Facebook. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
thought.
what is this going? I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. I thought it was me. Okay. All right. Once again, hi guys, and yeah, new co-host Z and very special guest Kika. Maybe Z, you want to just quickly say hi and then let Kika introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Zetalyiah.
Okay, and Kika, she's a relationship coach, she's a Tantra teacher, she's a book author, and she's coming up with a new academy for women. And Kika and I have been friends for a long time, 15 years, I think more than 15 years. It feels like a very long time. And yeah, Kika, I'll let you introduce yourself more, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is so fun to be here. And I'm so grateful to see my dear friend Lokesh shining so powerfully, rocking his YouTube and doing all these awesome interviews. It's an honor to be here because I've been hearing this guy saying, I want to be a coach, I want to do this, and now he's rocking everything. It's just fantastic. I just want to say congratulations first. And my name is DivineKika. I'm a #1 international author. I've been helping people to create fantastic relationships, to have a fantastic relationship with their own sexuality, to create a love life that is fulfilling and that's happy. And I use the tools of Tantra, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a neuro-linguistics coach. I am a Tantra master, and I've been doing this work for over 20 years. And when I think about that, right, like it's been a long journey. I'm still learning and growing and getting better every day. And I just want to share something really quickly. Yesterday, I was just overwhelmed with gratitude for the relationship I'm in now. And then I was thinking, wow, even though I have like the ups and downs of a relationship in my life, like every human being, and I'm not like immune to suffering. And however, so like I have a lot to celebrate. And I was thinking how I am so grateful that I have been so well loved in my life. And I had experienced a lot of happiness in my relationship. And I was thinking about that is a gift. But that is not just a blessing. It is the work I have done on myself of getting to know myself or bettering myself, and the commitment to inner growth, to become a better human being every day. And I invite you to open your eyes and your heart to, maybe we will give you tools today to better your love life, to with yourself, with your children, with your friends, and with your beloved, and how to navigate dating, marriage, relationships in a better way. That's that my goal today is to give you something that will make your life better.
Wow, nice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that intro. Yeah, maybe we can start from like, because we both followed Osho for a long time too, right? My favorite spiritual teacher, and he used to talk a lot about relationships and even Tantra and stuff like that. Like, how would you define a relationship, from that spiritual perspective? And obviously there's two aspects of relationship, right? One is romantic and the other is relationship in general, right? So do you even differentiate between the two?
Well, first of all, I remember with Matt, I was running this Osho like meditations on a little apartment that I lived on like 22 years ago, I guess. Yeah, 21 years ago. And it's just so funny to go back there and think about like the journey, right? Like,
yeah.
And how the difference of relationships. Like, I think I think we're all in relationships with ourselves, with the divine, or with spirit, or whatever that is beyond us. And when we have that relationship with something that is beyond us, we are more centered, we are more aligned, and we are happier in the other relationships. And it doesn't matter what the person believes in, as long as if you believe in nature, and if you feel connected, and you feel like there's something beyond you, and you honor that aspect of yourself, I think it reflects in your relationships. And your relationship with your own self. How do you talk to yourself? Because we are not always nice to ourselves, right? We don't always say the nicest things, but if you can always bring yourself back to saying something positive to yourself, to treat yourself with love, and to actually be kind to yourself, then you will notice if somebody's not kind to you. And I think that's a key to all the other relationships, right? And yes, I follow Osho since I was 16 years old, and I had a beautiful awakening at that age. I almost died. It's a long story. I don't want to bring it out right now, but Osho was the way out of that, and to come back to life in a beautiful way. And I love all the teachings. I think there is a lot of seeds of greatness in the Osho teachings. But I also think in each one of us, we have a seed of greatness, and we have something beautiful within us that if we water it, and if we're taking care of it, if we really take care of our seed of greatness that is in each one of you that is listening right now, then we blossom into beautiful fruits and flowers that will become a gift to everyone that comes to our lives. And I think that's the core of all of this, right? Like, what do we get from all the spiritual teachings and that? Like, can you be a gift to everyone that comes to your life in a way? Can your presence be so good that you have that intention behind of every word and every thought and every action that you say, that I want to be a gift today. I want to feather this person or that person's life. Like, if you come with that intention behind, I think everything else kind of follows through. And that's kind of so simple, right? But I don't know if I answer your question, but I went around a little bit.
Yeah, I understand. It's the self-love, the importance of self-love, because I think sometimes we just put too much attention to other people in general, especially if it's a romantic relationship, right? Like, we make the other person like almost like a god or a goddess, right? Like, we just project so much of the love that we have for ourselves onto the other person that we forget that we even exist sometimes, right? And yeah, I think I'm also going deep. We're going deep.
Yeah. But projection, right? Like, what you project is what you see and you get. So on that note, like, when we think about when somebody gets lost on the other, and we also get lost, like a lot. I see that a lot, and then I think it's a sad thing that human beings do in general, is that we project our past, we project our traumas and our fears in our partner, and we are conditioned and programmed to see the wrong, to see the bad. And when we look to see the good in the people that we're in, and we compliment our partner in the good stuff, and then we bring the good out of them, then we get more of the good from them to us, right? And the problem is we have more expectation than projecting good things into our beloveds. And I think the problem is like, people are always afraid of getting hurt, and then they get contract, and then they attack, or they close down, or they push away. And this is all from trauma and fear. And what if we actually say, here's my heart, and I'm holding my heart. Can you hold my heart with me? Like, can I hold your heart with you? And then actually hold each other's hearts.
Yeah, do you think, I mean, sure. Do you think it's getting better in the sense, like, like we're in our 40s, you and I, and Z, she's in her 20s. So do you feel like, 20 years back, let's say when we were in our 20s, like, do you think that gap between, the way we relate to each other, males and females, do you think it's getting better or is it getting worse?
No, I have a question. Do you think like, are you talking about like modern age dating, or as you get older, relationships get better?
No, in general, like 20 years back, it doesn't matter like whether we were in 20, like 20 years back, I feel like 20 years back when I was going through my relationships, it was easier for me to relate to the person. I'm asking you, is it just me, or have you noticed any kind of a difference in dynamics between,
Yes.
guys and girls? Yeah.
So it's interesting that you asked me, because I'm dating somebody much younger than me now. And I can see how, because that person doesn't have as many hurt, trauma, or projection of negative things, how the love can be more fresh and pure. And because I have done so much work on myself, and I had let go of the fears and the pain that I had in relationships so much, I still sometimes have to tell myself, oh wow, I'm so loved. Oh wow, it's so good. Like, see the good, because my past and the pain that I had before haunt me, right? Like, it will come with a thought like, oh, we see a little something, we smell a little something, or somebody look at us in a certain way and trigger something from our past. And when we unconsciously project, distort, and generalize what we see, what's happening, and we project into the pain we had before. And as we get older, and I think so, you can say, oh, people become bitter, or they don't believe as much, or jaded, right? It's very easy to say, oh, a woman after a certain age is bitter, is jaded. No, if they do the inner work, and if they do enough work in themselves to clear that shit out, and to have enough perception to say, this is now, that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
And actually project good things in the person you are with, rather than project the bad, the ugly, and the fears you had, and the asshole from the past, forgive my French here. Like, then relationships will thrive better. But what's happening is that we are unconsciously deleting, distorting, and generalizing, and projecting trauma all the time. We're meaning machines. We're making meaning of things that happen. And sometimes the meaning we give to things is not reality.
Yeah.
And we feed what doesn't serve. We feed what does not make things grow and prosper. And that's where we have to be careful with our responsibility of how are we seeing what's happening? How are we managing what's happening? What are we feeling? And that's where a deeper awareness comes in. Like, I know myself. Oh, this is my fear from the past. Oh, I'm projecting because I know I have a sore spot on that situation. Oh,
So
he's
that-
late.
yeah.
He's, for example, like, let's say she's late, he's late. I can make all kinds of meaning of that. He doesn't care about me. Oh, I'm not loved, or this is not working, all kinds of things. So I can say, you know what? I wonder, I can be curious. And I think curiosity goes a long way when things go a little bit south. Instead of like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Is this person that is late okay? Or or people say, oh, they don't like me, or they see how we can easily project all kinds of things. And you know what? Maybe he or she was late because he went pick up flowers for you, and you're here suffering and nothing happened yet. You know?
Yeah.
And that is the main thing that I see that can ruin a good relationship. Another thing is people are not present these days as used before. And people don't believe in relationship as much because we don't need a mate to make babies, like our people people just marry because they don't marry anymore. The institution marriage is like, oh, marriage is old-fashioned. But some of the values that we had before, where we would stay in a relationship and work on the relationship, there will be nobody perfect. But
Right.
first of things, sharper or picker? What do you need in relationship? What do you like? Are you in alignment with yourself? And is the person are you attracting? Are you becoming a magnet for the relationships you want? Second, like, are you saying no to what is not love and not right for you at this moment in your life? Are you saying yes to the person that could be it? Are you actually giving a chance, or are you projecting your fears in there? And another thing is, like, are you making room for somebody in your life? Like, this is so important. We make time and energy, the things that we focus on, we project good things. What we focus on, if you focus on, let's make it work rather than keep looking for what's wrong, perhaps things would work better. And also, like, identify, is it healthy? Is this, because also some relationships, they're unhealthy and you need to let go, and having that courage to let go to get something that works is also very important.
Yeah. I know there's so many aspects to it. And then if you add sexuality and all those other aspects, that even gets more complicated, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit about that, like sexuality. Like, the world now is so different. People are addicted to pornography. People are addicted to novelty. People are always looking for something new. Our ability to focus and to be present has reduced, right?
Yeah.
So I see a lot of men. One of the side effects of pornography is that people don't feel as good about themselves, right? And then girls, wow, Zetalyiah, it's so interesting. Like, what I see is, like, I go to high school to drop off my son, and I went to my other son is in Berkeley University, right? So I'm seeing these girls. And look, I'm from Brazil. I'm not a pure thing. Like, women in Brazil that show their bodies and tell their bodies a lot more than some other cultures. But I'm noticing this younger generation showing too much of their bodies in a way to find their worth in that, in their beauty, and not standing for their values. And I see a lot of young girls so troubled, and that worries me so much.
Yeah, it blows my mind just how different all of a sudden it switched, because I feel like it switched as soon as, like, I was getting out of my high school years. And so then as soon as that happened, I was like, whoa, I just felt this, like, shift. And I feel like a lot has to do with social media too.
And I see a lot of young girls putting up with things that they shouldn't have to, and not standing up for themselves, even though we had this whole thing that happened in the last few years, right? That the goddesses that come into their power. And then I'm like, what is the young generation doing of it? Showing their butt and shaking it on YouTube? Like, is that self-love? Is that a way where I notice for my heart and who I am and all? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, again, I'm Brazilian. I love to be sexy. I love to dress sexy. But I love myself and I honor myself. And I'm aware of who I am, and I'm not using that to get. And then there is this power misuse too, that sexuality is not there to control or manipulate. And that happens a lot. And being a woman, that is the unhealthy masculine within women as well. That some women, when we don't have an example of a healthy masculine in our lives, like, and I went there, like, become the business hard woman. If you met me in 2014, I was like, I want to be the best in the world. What's going on? And then I had to slow down and then come back to my feminine, where I receive and love better and can see everything and embrace everything. So finding that balance in our things, I think it's very important. But I worry a little bit of the balance where also women rage against men for a while, and now the guys are a little bit confused of how to act around us, how to be. And I think that is a way where we can ask for what we want and show up as loving, caring, as the feminine as well. And I think some of the values in relationship of being the good girlfriend and call your man in the morning and say, hey babe, I wish you have a good day. You know what? You're so important to me. I love you. Have a good day. And then the woman too, to receive that and go back to those values of we are here to inspire each other, to hold each other in love and to grow together, not to fight and project ourselves.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I know, because
Sorry.
yeah, it becomes like competitive, like instead of becoming complementary, especially after the feminine movement and now the whole transgender, LGBT, like it's just like you were saying earlier, first we have to know who we are. I mean, that includes the gender, because now the media is making it more confusing about we don't, I mean, forget about who we are. First, people are trying to figure out which gender they are, which is kind of funny. But and then on top of that, you can change your gender anytime. It's like, come on, like
It's confusing, and I feel like everyone's, putting themselves in a certain category, which is making us more and more butt heads. And it's not, it's
yeah,
really, I feel it's like we're a community, it just feels separate, even in LGBT, because that's where I am myself. I know I put myself as bisexual, but even then I'm in a category. I don't really feel involved.
And I have an invitation for you guys about all of this. What if we are transforming all the time and we just allow whatever to want to express, whatever sexual expression of your being,
yeah, without
Be-
labeling it, right?
to
Yeah.
come out instead
Yeah.
of putting yourself in the box and giving yourself the freedom to be you and to enjoy whatever sexuality you feel at the moment. Because and it's easy for me to say that I kind of identify as bisexual, but I like men better. It's like, if you want to put me in a box, if you need to put me in a box, that's what I am. But I also don't like to identify as poly or as monogamous. I'm happier when I'm monogamous. But that's a personal choice, right? Like sometimes in my life when I'm not in relationship, it serves me to be polyamorous. So what if we just allow ourselves to navigate and to be what we want at the moment, and we drop these labels and boxes. And then we can be pansexual, heterosexual, whatever it is, and we don't have to put all these labels, because when we put these labels now, carrying that it can be heavy duty, because you might change, and are you giving yourself the freedom to change as we go in life, and life changes and situations change? And look, I'm all for the sexual freedom and for us to be able to express ourselves in all ways that we want and love each other better in every way. I'm all for love, right? And I'm all supportive of the LGBT community, but I also think even that should not be a hat we put on. I am this, because every time we are one thing, we are not allowing ourselves to see what else is there for us. Because it's like diet. Like our body will need different things. If you're vegan your whole life, it might not work for you. If you eat meat your whole life, it might not work. Like your body will change, and you need to listen and feel into what are you needing in the moment, and have the discernment, yoga burti, right? Like to discern what is good for me right now, what is my higher possibility. And the definition of Tantra is to find what brings us joy, the true joy, and to follow that, and to have the discernment to see if it's really the path of joy. Because the path of joy is the path of alignment, and alignment is just, everything is kind of some sort of order. Everything works.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, how do you feel about this?
Who, me?
How do you feel about what I said?
Who are you asking?
Both of you.
Okay, you want to go first, Lee?
I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking about the path at the moment, you know, how magical that is. That's where my brain's at.
Magical what?
Oh, I was thinking about how magical the path can be
Oh, yeah, exactly.
and
Like
how it all aligns.
yeah, I think, yeah, like without labeling, right? I think that's the thing is like,
Mhm.
even like I feel even labeling countries where we are from, like it's like stereotyping. There's so many things that we stereotype people with, like country we're from,
Oh, right.
huh?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Mister.
yeah, and then we keep adding things on top of that, like
Mhm.
how old we are, that's another label. It doesn't matter, like 50-year-old person could be acting or feeling younger
Right.
than a 20-year-old person, and the other way around, right? So, but I
Have
think
you seen some of those ladies at 60 though that look like they're 20 and they're rocking it? Or some of these guys like they're 50 years old and they have like these crazy bodies and can do all this crazy stuff. It's like it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah, and I
We're
think
all
more than
changing.
yeah, and I feel we've paid too much attention on the bodies. I mean, not we as in we people, but media and the movies.
Mhm.
They've kind of portrayed a picture in our minds, almost brainwashed us to think that we are more bodies than minds and spirit and soul.
Mhm.
So that's part of, I think, what's happening now is because of the internet. I think it has made it even worse because there's so much information, and I think that's why kids are confused about so many things. Like
Right.
gender is one thing, right?
And
Because
the body dysmorphia as well. The body dysmorphia I've heard is like way more common now because of it.
what is it called?
Body dysmorphia.
Tell me more about that.
Like I was actually talking about it with my therapist because I was just curious about it and I was wondering if I connected to it. But um basically, you know, you can have in your mind that you look a completely certain way, but that's not how you look, you know, just attacking your body of who you are and just hyper fixating on one thing. Let's say, like for my stretch marks, I could just be constantly thinking about it and looking at myself in the mirror and just like, oh, that's this, that's that, and shutting myself down, comparing myself to all these other people that I'm seeing, you know, on my screen of my phone or wherever it is.
So it's
You know,
like obsession about either the body or one body part. Is that
That's kind of how he explained it to me a little bit, but I don't know everything about it. I just know that it's more common now. And as you know, I'm on TikTok, and when I watch videos, sometimes like it's been coming up more online for me. Like
you know
all
what?
of these things they say that they have, that's the one that I've heard now.
You know something interesting about that? I was thinking about that the other day because God, I'm like almost 50, right? Like, and I used to be like this freaking gorgeous 20-year-old or whatever, right? Like I was one of those kind of girls that stopped the street when I walked because I was blessed with being very beautiful. But today, my body is not perfect by any means. I work out, I take care of myself, but I feel more beautiful. And I feel like I'm more attractive than I ever been now than when I was in my 20s. And I was the most physically beautiful, but I feel beautiful. And it's like my boyfriend is more good looking now than when I was younger, which is kind of like and I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, wow, I wouldn't give it for the way I feel about myself and the way I love myself and the way I just look at myself with so much more love and acceptance than before then. Because before then, I think when we're younger, like as a young woman, look for all that is wrong in our bodies and are always so concerned because we're not secure into our being, and our power is who we are, what we do, what we create, what we believe about ourselves and others, and not just like our looks. But I feel like I wouldn't trade this for my 20-year-old body, like that I feel, and I get so much more feeling the way I feel about myself and knowing who I am so much more now than then. And it's surprising to me. because that conversation came out, right? Like, oh, if you could have your 20-year-old body, I'm like, yeah, but they would have to come with this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's-
interesting?
Yeah, it's kind of
Love that.
finding the balance between body and mind, right? Like in the sense, the way you feel. Maybe I shouldn't call it mind, because the way you feel and the way you are in your body is like finding that balance. And also, I want to quickly mention about you were saying that you're starting some new school or an academy or something, right? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Mhm. Going back to that, I think the word is like how we accept and love ourselves has everything to do it with how people see us. And it's not this.
Right.
What we look like is the way we project our energy and our being that makes us attractive or not. Like it doesn't matter. Like
I
what we
completely agree. That's why when I've had people ask me, hey, what's your type, whatever, and I'm like, it's not about that, you know? Like, it's not even who are you? It's like, how do I feel around you? What is your energy like? How do you walk out of the house? You know, the things like that.
I love that. I love to have you here. That's so refreshing. That's a great thing. Look, because it brings this different perspective, right? Like it's like to know what is in your mind today. I love it. So I'm opening the Radiant Goddess, and it's been a work of my heart for a long time. I've been writing about women. I've been having women's groups for a long time. And it's interesting because in my coaching, I always have like more men. And then now I think because my energy is attracting more women. So I'm coaching a lot of women, like in my private coaching, right? So I'm bringing this group of women that we were going to stay together 5 weeks and recovering our mojo, recovering our motivation about life, like what makes us feel alive, what makes us wake up, feel excited about life and not feel bitter, like, because I feel like a lot of women are losing the enthusiasm, or they feel overwhelmed with the kids, their husband, or if they're young, they don't feel good about themselves. There's like so much stuff going on, and we are not making time for what it's really important. And so the Radiant Goddess Academy is here to empower women, to bring them to their self-love, to bring them to the radiance, and to learn the tools of how do we take care of ourselves, what we put it in our bodies, what we put it in our minds, how we let go of the past and projections, how we say no to the things that don't matter, that are not important for us, how we say yes to life, to the things that in an authentic way that serves us. And to come back to our power, and our true power is love, right? And that is the foundation of the Radiant Goddess Academy. And my heart is really like beating with it every moment, because everything about the Radiant Goddess that I'm doing is just bringing this like excitement, and I can't wait to launch it. It's like giving birth to this beautiful thing that just brings so much, because as a woman, I think we have so much power to bring light and love to the world. And if we can awake that power and that joy and that love in as many women as we can, and the world will be better. But I believe that men have the feminine inside of them, and they can do the same. And women can too. But I'm just excited about, like, Lokesh, that I launched the book for men a long time ago, and I've done a lot of work for men. And my book, I'm very grateful, it did very well. And I'm still helping a lot of men with my online courses and things that I have. So.
Yeah, I think, there's that thing called divine masculine and divine feminine, right? So I think as a man, I feel there's again that I won't call it competition, but like I feel there's more women talking about divine feminine than men talking about divine masculine. You know what I'm saying? Like I know there's men's groups out there, but I feel that also brings in some competition, or like a, I don't know what's the right word, but basically it brings in more difference when women just talk about divine masculine, divine feminine, without considering how men, what men are going through, or like talking about relationship, not just like feminine. Yeah, we know everything is both men and women are divine. So why even talk about divine feminine and masculine? Because that brings in some kind of a competitiveness, at least for me.
But I think that is the rising of the divine masculine, the rising of man is there is a lot of movements now. There is a lot of men's groups, and men are coming back to their power in a beautiful way. And I think we have some good role models of divine masculine, or what is a healthy masculine in the world now. The world is changing so much, and this is the beauty of having access to so many different minds, right? We can try different things, see how it feels on us, and then we go forward. And I think that is a lot of good teachers. For the men that are watching this, I'm a big, Lokesh, how much I fought for men and how much I worked to create the healthy masculine in the world. And, I've been raped, molested, and I've suffered so much with unhealthy masculine through my life that I could say, you know what, or hate men, or take that. And I did the opposite. I actually love men so much that I wanted to bring them to their highest possibility. And I wrote this book, Tantric Sex, Love, and Relationships for the Modern Man. That is it's a journey into men to loving and accepting themselves and finding their true power within themselves, and to love themselves better and to really come to their power. And I think like a lot of the power of men is becoming their best lover within themselves and finding that they are enough, and not so much the hunting and gathering, and rather than feeling good about who they are and where they are, and cultivating all of that. And I think ejaculation control comes in a great way. Like if a man can choose when and if he wants to ejaculate, and he comes to his power with his sexuality, now he's in control of his life, and he's confident and powerful in a way that is very magnetic for women and for men, or for whatever, right? Like if he wants to become more attractive, having that power and knowing how to expand the feelings that he feels through his penis, throughout his body, and not be just guided by the urge of having sex, but actually to be a man that is light and power. And that is I'm very passionate about men coming to their power and resolving their sexuality, resolving who they are. And I think men are rising to that. And yes, we still have a lot of unhealthy everything in the world. The world is not perfect yet. I believe that I was listening to something that when we come to 10 billion cells, we become a one organism, and we have 8 billion people on the planet. So I really believe we are becoming one beautiful big organism that is supporting each other. And then once we become one and we really love and support each other, then we can have a better planet. So I believe that we are getting there, and we are evolving. So. I hope so. That evolution is our path, and evolution is happening whether you want it or not. So you better get on the boat of evolving yourself and your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what some people call it, the new Earth Ascension. I mean, there's so many names to these new energies that are coming through from a spiritual point of view, right? Like, because we're talking more physical point of view so far, I think, but there's also a spiritual component to it that's kind of changing our energies and cells and frequency. And I think it's just finding the balance, right? Like, because like what happened with the feminine movement, I don't know when it was, 20, 30, 40, 50 years back, especially in the US, where, the women were like, yeah, we want to be like men, but that's not how it works, like, because we have our strengths and weaknesses, we cannot compete with each other, right? So that's, I think we still haven't lost that sense of competition and extremism, as in women still think, like they have to work as hard as men, And I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of unhealthy masculine in the world today. And we are healing that, where we are able to receive love. I think one of the things that happen is
Yeah,
are trying to do everything by themselves, and they're not allowing themselves to receive and to trust that you can receive and be taken care of too. That's a big, big thing. And one of the traits of the feminine, the healthy feminine, is receiving, dancing, trusting, believing, right?
yeah.
Then the man is a little bit, the healthy masculine is directional, but it's not controlling. And so
Yeah.
those kind of differences create a better life and relationships.
Mhm.
And that on tagging along with what you said about the new codes, I think we are all, have you noticed? Like, we are receiving the new codes. We are,
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
so
for sure.
many beings,
Yeah.
so many beautiful energies coming in. And if you really clear, give space and receive, that is so much good awareness coming in. So much. And we
Yeah.
just have to tune in. I mean, I've been feeling a lot lately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's been crazy. Yeah, it's just like yeah, it's a lot. And I feel we're getting ready for a big event. A lot of people are talking about like a solar flash, or I think what just happened in Turkey, the earthquake in Turkey is, some people say it's a positive thing, some people say it's negative, as in it's kind of preparing, the planet is going through ascension, right? It's not just us human beings. So I feel we're getting signs that our planet is ready for the next level, which some people call 5D. But the thing is that some things have to be destroyed for new things have to be created. I think that's why this whole Turkey thing is happening, and this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, and then China, is talking about something with Taiwan. So some things have to be destroyed, right? So that's where, like looking at it from a higher perspective is whatever negative energy we're carrying, whether it's like feminism or extremism or whatever ism, right? That, like, there's two ways to find the balance, right? One is do it slowly, like what we're doing now is like trying to change things slowly. But I think the planet is at a point right now where it's like, no, like it's about time. You guys fucked it up too much. Let me take care of this. And so yeah, I think from a higher, like, because I also follow different schools of thoughts from a spiritual perspective, I think to find that balance between not just masculine and feminine, but light and dark, and mostly that light and dark. We have to go through some, like what some people call dark night of the soul, right? Where we completely dissociate ourselves from our identity. And I feel from a spiritual perspective, that's what transgender is about. What is it called? Am I breaking up? Yeah, transgenderism, or what is it called? The transgender movement is basically people trying to find the balance between masculine and feminine, but then they go even extreme to that. Like, instead of finding the balance, they're like, no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, or that, or both, or okay, I'll stop there. I think I'm going in so many different directions, but yeah.
I follow what you're saying, and we are changing, and we are growing, and we are evolving, but I still believe that one of the highest paths is loving and accepting ourselves, and through the transitions we go through, and the transitions that goes through good and bad, and that life is full of ups and downs, and it's all about how do we navigate, and the ease which we navigate through difficulty, through not understanding, through change, is what makes us evolve and to live a better life. The more we accept that things are not going to be perfect and things are not going to be good all the time, but how we navigate through difficult, through change, that's evolution. Like, can you do that with ease? Can you feel your pain? Can you feel your deception? Can you feel your frustration? Can you realize that's a sign that things need to change and evolve and create the change that you need to create in your life instead of taking a pill when you feel sad? I'm sorry, that is not the way. The way is to feel deep into the pain, feel into that, not get lost into the pain. I tell my clients, like, can you suffer just 20 minutes a day? Because some people can also get lost into the suffering and make them life about, oh, my problems are bigger than yours. And I really. One of the things as a neurolinguistics coach is that people are so in love with their problem. And first I have to kind of like loosen up the problem and making them realize that, okay, you're not your problem. Can you let go of the problem? And then it starts the solution. And so we're not our problems, but we also, if you are not sleeping well, if we're sad, that's because something needs to get better. It's because you need to do something different. Either if you might not be able to change the circumstance that you are in, and life is fucking hard. But you can change the way you see and project what's happening and what you're creating and you're doing to have a better life. You can change that. Even if you are sort of stuck in the moment. Like you start creating change right here, so you can create change outside of you. But if you are upset, something needs to be regulated. Something needs to come back to balance. And the earth is coming back to balance because there's a lot of things that are being regulated right now. And we can focus on all those things, or we can focus on, okay, something big is happening here. What am I doing to contribute? What kind of energy I'm bringing to the world with my presence and my being? What am I projecting into the world with who I am today? Am I making it better? Or I'm adding to the suffering and the negativity? I'm creating more pain to people. When I'm triggered, what I'm doing. When I'm angry. When you're angry, what are you doing? When you're really frustrated, what the fuck are you doing? It's so important.
Right. Like, how are we reacting instead of responding to the situation? We're used to reacting, right? And using a coping mechanism, whether it's like a medicine or drugs or alcohol, whatever. But because that's a reaction, right? We think, like, for example, breakup is a good example, right? When we go through breakups, we have so many coping mechanisms like alcohol, or even like getting into another relationship too quickly. That's also a coping mechanism, right? Instead of, like you were saying, like going through the grief, right?
Feeling it's shit. Last year, forgive my French here for using such pretty words, but last year I went through a journey where I got out of a deep loving relationship. I had to feel all this pain and be miserable for a while and like dig in and find myself again and come back like Phoenix, and then finding somebody like a new relationship happening, how not to project my past into the new relationship, and then how to open to love, how to accept it, how to allow it to happen, how to water the garden of relationship and to allow it to blossom again. This is the inner journey that we go through, like with these cycles, right? Because it's very easy to stay lost in the pain and then project a bad world and say, oh, all the men out there, all the people out there are bad. Why would they even try again? That's what a lot of people go through. Quick
fix, a quick explanation. It's like, go to the, thing that'll bring you the most comfort instead of just really sitting with it and healing from it.
And
that's why we need more coaches, and support system and communities. Like a lot of people are talking about, forming those communities and support system, because to be honest, I mean, it's hard to just do it just by ourselves, right? We need, that's why I think this whole technology thing is, I feel like, it's always better to have a support system in person. But I don't know how you feel about that in your coaching practice. Like, do you feel um, just doing Zoom sessions and stuff like that is as good as being with somebody in person, or how much difference does it make?
So the first thing I want to say about that, like, we can only get so far by ourselves. And we
Yeah.
need a mentor, somebody that has done that and is doing better than we are, to help us to see our blind spots and to get better. So the more mentors we have in our life, I think it's the better. And choose your mentors wisely. And last year, with all that I had to go through, I went back to therapy, and I found this beautiful therapist in my hometown. And I kept going, and I'm still going. I do Zoom sessions once a week. Now I'm doing constellations. I'm constantly working and evolving. And this is not because I'm broken or something's wrong with me. It's because I'm committed to get better all the time. And because I'm committed to get better all the time, things get better. Now, a mentor. If you want to learn how to swim, you need a swim teacher, somebody that knows how to swim, to enter the water with you so you don't drown, right? And if you never swim and you go into a pool that is deep and you could drown, right? Like, so how do we learn you can learn to swim by yourself. It's going to be a lot harder and you might fall into the process. So get a mentor that you trust and keep growing, keep evolving. It's very important to remember that we can allow somebody to hold our hands and take us to our higher possibility. And as somebody that I have mentored myself all the time, I always have, and I mentor people all day long, right? It's like, yes, we do. And another thing, it's like, I think it's so important to get help and to remember that we are a community, and we are not here, we're not meant to be alone and doing things alone. Another thing is, like, I think it's time for us to be together again. And I'm going to come up with I'm actually launching some live events again, and I'm super, super excited about that, to bring community again. It's time to come back. It's time to connect. It's time to be together. We're ready, right? As beings, we need that to heal. We need that to stay healthy. We need that to evolve. We need to be together again. And I love Lokesh came to a lot of the events I had in the past, and you know how it is. I bring people together to connect and to heal their hearts and to practice healthy relating, to practice having heart conversation, to practice having heart conversations, and to practice to have fun together. And
yeah, that's why I was asking about the whole technology thing, especially after this COVID thing, right? Like, people have gotten more used to being online. So
that is something else. Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
My book, for some reason, I don't know, did very well in Australia. Also in England, I have a lot of people, but especially in Australia. And so I've been working with a lot of people there, right? And the interesting thing, as a neurolinguistics coach and doing timeline therapy, one of the beautiful gifts of it, and I get kind of emotional because, like, when COVID was happening, my business was thriving because I was doing like Zoom calls all day long with people all over the world and helping people. And I realized that our idea of time and space, like when I'm working with somebody with whatever happened when they were 70 years old, or planting a beautiful future in their timeline and healing the present through all this process. And then somebody's across the world, like all the way in Australia, and I'm in California, and there's no time difference on time and space. And we are together in that moment, either in their past or in their future or in the present. And it's all happening now. As a deep awakening happened inside of me to have that realization, not just in my mind, but to feel this, that space, time, and this, like right now, Lokesh, Zetalyiah, we are together in this time and space, different hours, different times, or energy is connected, and we are together. And this is beautiful and doesn't take away, even though sometimes You can say it's a Zoom call. I still can feel the energy that my clients are feeling or stuff. We still can feel, and how beautiful that we can all connect. But don't substitute this for being with people in real time.
Yeah, again, the balance, right? Finding the right balance. Yeah.
We need to smell people and hug people and be with people and feel more and love better. I think it's so important for us. And you need hugs. We need hugs.
Hugs.
We need to hold hands. We need to love. We need to say to our friends that we love them. We need to hear that they love us. We need connection.
Oh yeah, that brings us to Valentine's Day. I guess we can. So that's what that day is about, right? I don't even know the history of how or when it started, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're doing for Valentine's Day or how people can make it more special, I guess.
So I celebrate Valentine's Day this whole weekend with my boyfriend, and people say, well, cool, what is like to live a tantric life, right? Oh, what is like to be in bed with a tantra master or all this stuff, right? Like, so just to give you an idea, like we did yoga together, we say appreciations to each other, we connect, we celebrate each other, right? Like, so but I also think Valentine's is about making heart cookies with my boys. Like they're older now and they're 15 and 21, and I love to like have on Valentine's Day, since they were little, we always make heart cookies together and we share. We write letters to each other and to the people we love and the people that matters in our lives, and we send them cookies. We make little packages. Because I think it's important to celebrate love. I decorate my house for Valentine's Day. I think love is the most important thing in our lives. So maybe I like Valentine's Day more than Christmas. and that happened even when I was single too, because I would share the love that I feel with my friends and amplify that love. And so some tips for making Valentine's Day better. Ladies, like just send a little sensual text. Put a little bit rose petals in your lingerie. Make chocolate surprises. And then the most beautiful thing that your beloved can tell you, the most beautiful gift, is to say 10 authentic appreciations to your beloved every day. Because if you water the garden of relationship, that grows and that gets better. If you start to just criticize your partner all the time, then they're going to shrink and they're not going to be able to be with you. Right? But if you actually, you can say, yeah, I would like this to get better. It can have those hard conversations sometimes, but there's also the time that you have that. Like, is this the time that they can actually receive it when you are making a request? And are you making clear requests? That's a whole other conversation, right? Boundaries, intentions, and that's a whole other thing. But let's go back to what are the relationship appreciations. What if you make a little ladder and say 10 appreciations that are authentic about your partner? I love the way you smile in the morning, or I love waking up with you, or I appreciate that you wake at 5 a.m. to go to work every day. I admire you for that. Or
not taking them for granted. I think that's what happens is we start taking our partners for granted, right? And that's like, it's like in our DNA, it's like a pattern. I think it's not natural, but I feel we've acquired it either through, I don't know, genetic manipulation or brainwashing through media. I don't know. My mind is going in many different directions right now, but basically not taking for granted, right? That's probably like gratitude and appreciation goes hand in hand with not taking our partners or anybody in our life for granted, right? So that's a good reminder. Yeah.
Well, the whole media, the whole world is telling you you're not good enough all the time. Why would your partner do that too? But at the same token, our partners are our mirrors and are our way to evolution. And some people say, well, I don't want a relationship. well, you're missing out on the opportunity to grow and to somebody show you. You wanna know your shit? Get into a relationship.
Yeah. Well, I
Because
think,
they will tell you everything that you need to do and get better about, right? So if you don't
Yeah.
want to evolve, you can say, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm happy by myself. Yeah, then you don't have to deal with that
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah, yeah.
you don't get to evolve as fast because
Yeah.
a partner will show you
Yeah.
all your darkness, like well, they want it or not. So we do that naturally. So why don't we focus on watering the garden of a relationship with appreciations? Because that's gonna happen no matter what. Like
Yeah, I think the
Others
only
like-
catch to that is like both the people have to be on the same page about showing, I mean, teaching each other, right? It's about, I think relationship is like a student-teacher relationship, but if only one person thinks of it that way, then it's not going to work out, right? Like both of the people have to be on the same page.
And that's when we can ask lovingly what we want, saying our yeses clearly, saying our nos clearly, know what we want, right? And then set boundaries, say, look, this doesn't work. Can we do it differently? This is the way I would like it to be. And being a woman, sometimes women don't know what we want, and we need to be heard. And you can say, hey, look, I'm feeling a little frustrated and I just need you to listen to me. And I'm not projecting my fears and my frustrations into you, but I have a need of being heard right now. Can you just listen to me? And if the partner can listen with an open heart and say, oh, I hear you're saying this, I hear you're saying that, and just repeat back. And then at least you give that gift of that for that person to feel understood and seen. And that, I did a survey a long time ago with my students and clients, like, what do you want the most in relationship? And most people respond, they want to be seen, heard, and understood. So that you get a lot of points from that. And then from them, then it comes connection. Because now I feel heard, so I can now, and I can take a step back. Now, blaming and shaming and demanding is a no.
Right.
Conversation, but can I make a clear request? I am feeling really tired. I really need to rest right now. Would you be able to have this conversation in about a half hour so I can lay down a little bit, and I will come back to you when I'm refreshed, because right now I feel like I don't have enough to give to you and I want to give you my best. See, that it's very different than saying, you know what, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
How did the other person feel seen? And then to have that ability to go in and expressing in a loving way what we need, what we're feeling, and making a clear request is very important. And that takes self-awareness.
Right. So where do you draw the line, as in, how do you know when it's time to move on or to break up? Because that's the thing, I think, at least for me, it's a hard decision, because I want to learn from the relationship, but there comes a point where, like, okay, I've learned enough, and as in it can't get better than that. So where do you draw that line?
That takes a lot of self-inquiry. First is that ability to see, and that's where a mentor comes in that helps you to see, is this my fears from the past? I'm running from this relationship because now I am feeling so much love and happiness that I'm starting to look for ways of not opening up because I'm terrified to open up. That's very common, right? We do that. Or this relationship is becoming toxic and we are no longer growing. Do I have the courage to stand up for myself and love myself so well to say no to what is not the highest path for me? And to identify that is it's a gray area, right? I cannot tell you there's so many nuances of the relationship that needs to be analyzed. And I have a little, it's a long thing to do right now, but I have a little questionnaire and a little way to see like in a half hour of like digging through, we can make a relationship assessment and see what's going on, right? And then that's like,
Yeah.
we have to go there, and then we have to see what part of this is your projections, your fears, what part of it is your partner needing encouragement, what part of this relationship that is not working now, is it temporary, is it something that can be fixed and resolved? Sometimes couples are together for so many years living miserably, and then they work together with me for 6 weeks and everything shifts and they come back to love. Sometimes they discover that, oh wow, I've been waiting and I've been trapped in this relationship for so long and I need to get out, and then how do I find the strength to move on from a toxic relationship, or from people can bring the best or the worst in the relationships. Like, how are you bringing the best out of your partner? And sometimes people will bring the best in us, and sometimes people will bring the worst in us. And that awareness to understand this whole thing is so deep, and it's so unique to each person and each relationship, that we need to look at that very closely. So to say, oh, when this happened, that's happening, it's hard to say, because sometimes, sometimes the person fighting is fighting for love. And the other person say, oh, but this person is complaining. Well, but maybe you're not listening to what they really want. Or people are not educated on how to ask for what they need in a love and clear way. And so there is so much to it that I cannot tell you, like, oh, when is the exact time. And I think when we start to question, is that my fear or projection from my past? Is this what's really happening that is that bad? Am I giving my best in this relationship? Am I growing and evolving in this, or I'm shrinking and getting worse? And sometimes, and here is, I think it's a very important aspect, is the relationship is good in the beginning, and then the relationship all of a sudden is not good anymore, right? And then people get conflicted. Well, it was good, now it's not good. Don't discount the good that was and the good times you had. And then the other part is, it may not be good now. It may not be as good right now. And it doesn't take away from the good it was, and it doesn't mean it's good now. So have the ability to separate what is what. That was good then, that is not good now, I need to go, right? Or that was not good then, but now it got better, I can stay. Well, that's the navigation. Can we, and I think one of the things that we need to do, I love the kitty. One of the things that we need to do is to see where the relationship is at now, and have the ability to talk to our partner and resolve what is in front of us and give our best to the relationship. And when I get a couple that is conflicted, and unfortunately, a lot of times couples come to me when it's too late, or before things could get better, right? And then it's time to just dissolve it and peacefully and heal whatever is left. And I think if people give their best trying to resolve the relationship before they leave the relationship, and trying to make it work for those last few weeks, then even if you leave, you will leave the relationship feeling that you did your best, and then you really try your best to make it work. And then when it doesn't work, you don't carry that weight. Oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. Next relationship. And also, if you get a mentor or a therapist, or somehow somebody like me, there's a relationship expert, if your relationship is conflicted, and indeed it's time to move on, at least like you will resolve your internal conflicts, your projections from your partner, your stuff, and you don't bring that stuff to the next relationship, because it's very important that you resolve whatever conflicts now. And then it's like somebody's really conflicted in one place and then they move to another. It's easy because the people start to see for the person you're becoming, but then also your problems will go with you wherever you are.
Because those are patterns. That's where I think neuro-linguistic programming can help, right? Because these are all patterns that we go through in each relationship, and unless we kind of dissect them by analyzing our subconscious mind, whether it's through hypnotherapy or NLP or any of those techniques, right? yeah, that's why it's so important, right, to have a right coach and mentor. So, all right, is there anything else we haven't covered yet that you want to talk about?
I am here for you, whatever you need. I invite you to go to my Facebook, Alexandra Marinetti, or go to my website, DivineKika.com, and subscribe. I have a free gift for you to make your Valentines better. And we can put a link down here. It's 10 tantric sex secrets to make your love life better tonight. It's a 25 minutes of how to make your sex and love life go better.
Without the sex toys, right? With no sex toys.
Exactly.
It's natural way to do it. Okay.
And so 10 tantric secrets for greater sex, love, and intimacy tonight is my gift to you. It's my Valentine's Day gift, and I invite you to just put your email and watch it with your partner, watch it by yourself. It will make your life better. That's my gift to you guys.
Yeah, great. Z, do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
Well, thank you so much for letting me join. This was a lot of fun. I loved hearing everything and all the perspectives. I love getting to know you and your work. I think it's awesome. It's magical.
Yeah, thank you,
So,
Kika, so much. And yeah, do you want to mention your website and your Facebook or whatever you're using?
Yeah, DivineKika.com, DIVINE.com, Kika, KIKA.com, or you can go to tantricsexsecrets.com. It's also me.
Okay.
And thank you, Lokesh, for having me here today. It's a joy to connect with you. I miss you. We used to be neighbors. I miss you around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe I should
Definitely.
come visit.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll be meeting each other soon. If not in 3D, maybe in 5D. But
nice.
yeah, happy Valentine's Day to both of you and everybody who's watching.
yeah, happy Valentine's.
Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you for bringing your light. It's so refreshing to have you here. So nice to connect with you. And for all of you out there, Valentine's and the whole thing, make it a love day for yourself, love day for your friends. Make it a love day for you. Make it a day to express love, to be love, and to experience love. Project that. Don't make it about, oh, he did get that. Make it about love. Make it about sharing love and telling the people in your life how much you love them. And just remembering that and acknowledging that to the people you love will make you feel loved because you remember the love that you want.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah, that's a very good note to end. Thank you, Kika, and thank you, Z. You take care. I'll talk to you soon. And thanks everybody for joining Soul Freedom Show. Click subscribe, share, everything. All right, take care. Bye.
Thank you.